Hello friends, today I want to answer the question of how much do short-term rental property managers charge? So how much do short-term rental property managers charge? Well, stay tuned because by the end of this video, I'm going to help you understand the fees associated with short-term property rental management. I want to provide information that will help you choose the right property management company for you, as well as maximizing your return on your investment. Have you ever wondered why some property management fees vary so much? Have you ever wondered about additional services and why they might cost extra? Well, stay tuned because as I dive into this, I want to give you all the details of short-term rental property management by first explaining the different ways that you can manage a short-term rental. Next, I want to go over the pros and cons of both. And finally, I want to guide you through some of the hidden fees to look out for so you're not caught off guard and reveal my choice on property management when it comes to short-term rental properties. If you are ready, let's go. So what are the different fee structures and what are the different organizations that exist when it comes to short-term rental property management? Well, there's three different ways to manage a short-term rental property. The first one is full service. So when I say full service, what does that mean? Well, it means that they do it all. They do it from the bookings, they list your property on all the sites, and a lot of them will claim that they can list on 40, 50, 100 different sites out there, and maybe they can. And a lot of them have built up a reputation where they have a lot of repeat business. So these full service managers, they list your properties, they oversee all the bookings, they manage the cleaners, the maintenance, the handyman. They facilitate all the fees that are collected, and they handle everything from the start of the transaction all the way to the end, and they also work on getting the reviews for you. But there's a huge difference in price. I've seen some as low as 10% on a good deal, and I've seen them as high as 40% in some areas. Now, when we bought our short-term rental in Blue Ridge, Georgia, when we bought it, it wasn't a short-term rental. It was a home that somebody lived in. It was their permanent residence. Now, we wanted to turn it into a vacation rental, and we knew it would be a great property for short-term rentals, and it has been. It's been absolutely awesome. But knowing that I live in Idaho and this property's in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and it isn't the easiest place to get to, you have to fly to Atlanta and drive 2 hours and 20 minutes north, but it is a destination. There's a lot of population around there, and a lot of people love to get out of the heat and go to this area that they consider the mountains. There's a lot of things to do there. You can fly fish, you can raft. So anyway, it is a destination area, but I didn't want to have to manage it from afar because I hadn't done a lot of self-management yet. So I was looking to hire a company. And as I was looking at these companies, I started calling every property management company in that area, and most of them were between 35 and 40%. And I thought, that's crazy because knowing at the time, we just bought a property close to Disney World, and our property management company, because they were also the real estate company that facilitated the transaction of us buying the property, they were only going to charge us 10%. But they also oversaw the cleaning company. So we were expecting like a 10, 15, maybe 20%. And so 40% was so expensive. So I started digging into that to understand why. Why would some groups on a full service property management charge 10% where others charge 40? Well, it was interesting on the research that I did. And here were some of the reasons. Obviously, in Blue Ridge, Georgia, to go from one cabin to another, the distance could require that you take almost an hour, 45 minutes, maybe even more to get to the property. All of the service individuals, from the cleaners to the handyman to the maintenance, also took a long time to get there. Any type of work that needed to be done required gas, miles, and time, and all of that added up. Whereas in Florida, you might have all your vacation rentals within a 5-mile radius, especially if you're close to Disney World. But in the rural areas where it's less densely populated, you're going to have a higher fee because of the travel and everything that goes into that. So that's full service management. Now let's talk about the second way, which is half management. What is half management? Well, it's exactly what it says. These people handle the booking, they handle the reviews, they've got an online website that you can go and you can log into the portal as an owner, you can see reservations, you can see financials. So they do a lot of the work, but they don't handle the cleaners, the maintenance people, any of that stuff, right? But they do have connections. So when we bought our property in Blue Ridge, Georgia, I was thinking, okay, this property is estimated to do around $75,000 a year. And I thought, if I paid 40% to a property management company, 40% of $70,000 is $28,000. That takes a lot of my profit, and I might not make any money on this. So I started looking around, and I found a company called Evolve. They only charge 10%. And the cool thing was they had connections to cleaners, professional photographers, handymen, and I also started learning something really quickly that was valuable that I'll talk about in just a minute. Evolve only charged 10%. So I was thinking, if this property had $75,000, I'd way rather pay $7,500 versus $28,000 to $30,000 for property management fees. And they gave me a number to a cleaner, which we hired, and we started utilizing them. It did take a little extra time and work on my end, but they did a great job. And eventually, because I was doing half the work anyway, I figured I myself could list on Airbnb, Vrbo, and really strive to get a 5-star review. And so eventually, after 1 year, we ended up self-managing. But Evolve did a great job. Other companies like Evolve in that space are a company called Vacasa, and they charge anywhere to 20 to 25%. I don't know the main difference between the two, but Vacasa claims that they do quite a bit more than Evolve does. And the last way to manage is self-management, right? Now, obviously, if you value your time, you might go with full management or half management, but self-management is going to require more of your time. But the cool thing about self-management that I realized is more of the time is front-loaded, so you're spending more time initially to get everything in place to get started, and then that time starts to slow down because you should have everything automated. But you do everything. You do the repairs, you involve all the cleaning people. If you got a same-day turnover, you're communicating with those cleaning people to get there early and then have it ready and prepared when somebody goes there that night. And as I mentioned, if you're a self-manager, one thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be part of Facebook groups that are associated with that area. Being a part of a Facebook group, especially Blue Ridge, Georgia Facebook group, it has been a lifesaver for us. I found cleaners when our cleaners unexpectedly quit. I found handymen there. Because we self-manage, it's a great place to get referrals. The locals are awesome about referring people, and I want to employ and I want to help the local area because that's where we own property, and these people are amazing. And you can do that in each area that you own a short-term rental. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of each. Really, it comes down to time and money, right? So for example, if you're somebody who values your time, you're going to pay for the full service or half service. If you want money, nobody cares about your money more than you do. Your profit is your profit. Your home is your home. Nobody cares about that more than you. So being a self-management, if you've got a little bit of time, that's probably the way to go. When we bought the property in Island Park, our first short-term rental, it already had a property management, a full service one in place, and they charged anywhere between 25 to 35%. Now the person we bought it from, they were paying 35% because they didn't want to deal with anything. At 35%, they did everything, including paying the bills. The person that owned it didn't even raise a finger, but they gave us the option of the 35%, the 30%, or 25%. We opted for the 25% because that property its first year did $150,000. The difference in 10% management fees was $15,000. That's money we'd rather keep in our pocket. So this brings me to the question, which way is the best way to manage your property? And if you ask my opinion, I would go with self-management. Like I said, it does take a little bit more time up front, but if you have things in place and you have operationally things running smoothly and systems that govern everything, and you're going to be in a world where you're making a whole lot more money. Now, these are things that I've done that I've seen work really well for managing short-term rental properties, but I'd be interested in your feedback. So if you have feedback, please comment below. Let's engage in a dialogue. Just for stopping by and watching the video, I've got a free gift for you. It's a short-term rental calculator. You put in all the income, all the expenses, and it spits out to you whether it's a good deal or not. And it's 100% free, no questions asked, no strings attached. Just click on the link below, aaronsfreetraining.com. And once again, thanks for stopping by. Have an awesome day.